fellow guitar geeks, it's Harley Benton time, and we're going to see how well they can do the Mosrite shape for under €200. And as a massive fan of Nirvana, I am extremely excited to try this guitar. So if you're a fan of Nirvana, or in fact any other band for that matter, and you're into Mosrites, we could be in for a winner here. Or we might not. Let's find out. Guitar reveal, and I can see that redness poking through. That's a bright red. Little protector here to make sure nobody snaps the switch off in transit. Up here we've got a little Allen key for adjusting and a yummy bag of silica gel. That's a different bag than I'm used to. That must be the Deluxe silica gel in there. Now, I am notoriously bad at removing these poly bags and I don't like the feel, but I'm going to do it for you. Here we go. Raw wood back of the neck. Feels like a modern C. I'll go through the specs in a minute, by the way. Yeah, I told you I'm bad at getting these bags off. Come on, you beauty. Right, I'm so excited. Oh, look at that. That is a gorgeous finish. Wow. Look at that German carve on the top there. We've got two P90 pickups. We've got a three-way. Oh, look at it. I am so excited. Get that out of the way. Right, what else have we got going on here? Oh, in a box, we've got a Rescue My Guitars sticker, which I have about 100 of. And we've got checked by 224. This has been checked by Harley Benton clone number 224. So 224, if you're watching this, thank you for checking this guitar. And if you're not 224 and you receive one of these little tickets inside your guitar box, it means, unsurprisingly, that the guitar's been checked and not just shipped from the factory through Thomann to you. So that does affect the review somewhat, knowing that this has been checked. However, just realizing how heavy that body is. Talking and not paying attention. My first impressions are that that is a beautiful looking guitar. What an absolute stunner. This carve up here, we've got this really great candy apple red finish in contrast to that very bleached maple neck. That feels such a difference in color, which is a kind of obvious thing to say, but it feels big. Matching headstock really adds to the look there, and if it didn't have that, then I don't think that would look as classy. Classy is the word, right? Regarding the feel, first impressions is it's really heavy on that side. And in fact, let's weigh it. Let's get that out of the way. Get my scales in and see how heavy this beast is. Right, zeroed out, and we have 8 pounds to, or 8 pounds, let's call it, or in 8 pounds too. Then in kilograms, we've got 3.7, which, by way of comparison, my custom shop TELE is 2.4, which is considerably lower in weight. And then let's try this Schecter. There we go. And my Schecter is 3.6. So Harley Bentons are sometimes notoriously heavy, but that's about the same weight as this Schecter. And I actually call that a heavy guitar. But it feels more heavier in the body area, which again seems like a silly thing to say, but it does feel like it might not balance well. But we'll check that out on a strap at some point in this video. It's almost in tune. Right, let's do specs and features. I've put chapters in this, so if you want to skip to the parts with the sounds or the review, then you can just do that. Or if you want to do that reading thing, you can follow the link in the video description to go straight to the Thomann page to get the specs. But I will go over features and specs for you now, so you don't have to click away. It has 6 strings, tuned with these Wilkinson Deluxe tuners. So these are Cloisonne style tuners, and I'm surprised that it's got Wilkinsons at under €200. That's already a good bet. And if you're ever looking at a cheaper guitar, check out the tuners first. This is often an indication of the overall quality of the guitar or where they've spent their money. We have a Jatoba fretboard, and according to the specs, that's roasted. Smells like strings, unsurprisingly. Why do I always sniff guitars? Anyway, we've got a hard rock maple, Canadian maple neck, which is screwed into the basswood body, which this basswood body feels so big. Like if you're used to Strats, that's bigger than a Strat. It's chunkier and it feels so good because I'm on the larger side of 6 foot. We've got a wraparound bridge with adjustable saddles, 2 P90s, a 3-way switch, a master volume, master tone, output jack on the front there. It's got a C profile, which I tend to obsess over, but it feels all right. The edges are not rolled, but they do feel soft. There are no fret edges to be concerned with. It's a 12-inch radius on that fretboard and a Fender scale, so 25.5 inch. So we've got like a Gibson radius with a Fender scale length. And I can't wait to plug it in. The switch feels very switchy, if not a little loose. So I like my switches a little bit, you know, resistant. That one is a medium resistance switch, if that means anything to you. Let's check the nut width. So we've got, it says 42 millimeters on the spec sheet. Is that correct? I've got 42.42, which we'll call 42. And it doesn't say on the spec sheet what the frets are, but they are very shiny, and regards to size, I'd call them medium. So they're not jumbo, they're not tiny little vintage things. They're in the sort of medium area, and they're not that tall, but they're not that narrow either. So right smack bang in the middle, ready to please either everybody or nobody. One thing that spec sheets never mention, which I enjoy, are these strap buttons. That is a good strap button, which I also seem to be obsessing over at the moment. It's the kind that you put your strap over, and then it will actually lock and not come off, rather than those ones that go like that, which I think, according to my maths lesson, is a trapezoidal column or something like that. But that's a good strap button. Once you strap that on, that's not going to fall off. I found something on the headstock. There's a little bit of overspray from the paint, but that is being super picky because this is, as I've said, 198 euros. That is more than, it's a tiny little bit. I shouldn't even have mentioned it, but if I didn't, you know, people will say that I didn't, if that makes sense. Right, these things, can I get it off? Yes! Ha-ha! Right. So let's pull these strings out, give it its first tune, and play it. That was a joy to tune. So I pulled out the strings twice, I think, in there. And when you're tuning a guitar for the first time, if you're a newbie, then make sure you do stretch out those strings. Otherwise, it's going to go straight out of tune as soon as you play it. These Wilkinson tuners are brilliant. There was no pinging or popping or anything on the bridge or the nut or anything like that. That was a joy to tune. It's quite loud. It's neither bright nor dark. It's somewhere in that middle range. But let's plug it into first. Let's get some crunchy stuff from the the Victory Sheriff 25, the Marshall style amp. This is a fun guitar to play. Some of the guitars I get in for review are less fun and more functional and useful. This is a fun guitar. I think it sounds and feels like it looks. It's a bit wacky, but it does surprisingly good rock tones. I wasn't expecting that. They are, on the bridge, a little dark. But not too dark. I could have a little bit more brightness from the amp. Then the middle position is quite a little bit louder than the other positions. So, bridge. I could do that for a long time, but let's get some cleans out of it. And we'll do a tuning check first. Fender Deluxe Reverb with reverb. Pretty much in. Superb, absolutely superb. Again, not the definition that you get from a much more expensive guitar, but I'm playing quite here all the time. I think if I play back here a bit more, you get a bit more definition. A lot of difference between playing above the pickup and playing in the middle, so watch out for that when you're watching guitar reviews. Feel the tuning's gone out again. You might have noticed the guitar is almost perfectly intonated. So this has definitely seen some kind of setup at the shop. Was it 244 or 224 that checked it? Good job, good job. Let's mess around with the tone knob. So, bridge first, tony knobby. Before I do that, I'm going to put some fast fret on the strings because I'm used to playing lubricated strings or those coated strings, and it feels a bit weird. That feels a lot better. That is fast fret, in case anyone's wondering. That's about 15 years old, I think, at least. Right, I'll do 100%, or 10, 7.5, 5, 2.5, and fully closed at 0. That is super honky. I love that. That is fun. That's like an old organ. That's great. Right, let's try that the neck pickup. This is a really fun guitar that makes me want to play it. It's one of those guitars that says play me, and every time I play something on it, it feels good. I get rewarded. I'm in love. Right, it's gone out of tune again, so I'm really worried about the tuning stability. I really have to report back to you on that for the duration of the video. Cleans. big old thick sound. Almost like I want to put one of those, what's it called? The Duesenberg trem systems on there so I can get some whammy action going on. But what I really want to do, what I really want to do is play this with some Nirvana riffs. So let's get out the old Boss DS1W and put it through the Fender Deluxe Reverb. Actually, I'm still suffering from tuning issues, so I'm going to put some lubrication stuff in the nut, because I think that might be where the strings are getting caught. This is from the D'Addario lube kit stuff that I've got. Let's see if it's making a difference. I hope so. Right, let's do some clean Nirvana and some dirty Nirvana. Bridge first. Now, it might just be because it feels right and looks right on the screen, but that sounded a lot like Nirvana to me. And I know some of you are going to say, yeah, Nirvana's just a DS1 or DS2 and some clean amp and a guitar with a humbucker. That's a P90, baby. That's a P90 that sounds like Nirvana. I'm sold already. Let's try other positions, same riff, because I love it so much. Yeah, that's phenomenal. That's big and dark, and that's only the middle position. Let's try the neck position. Off you go. Now, if you're not a Nirvana fan, you might not appreciate this, but at the end of the heart-shaped box, when he does this, every time I hear that, it makes my heart fill with joy. That's one of my favorite guitar sounds ever. This guitar just being and ringing, and I know it's a combination of everything, including me, and my tonal fingers, but some guitars don't do that. This guitar does that. It makes me happy. However, I still think that middle position is my favorite position. Right, I want to take a look inside here. What's going on under the hood? It's time for Drill Collins. Right, as we're here, I haven't taken the protective film off the pick guard, so that's not a dodgy pick guard. That's just me not having removed the plastic. Cavity reveal! Ooh, okay, big alpha pots. These are becoming more and more common in budget guitars. So we've got big alphas, so these should be quality. That socket, is it also alpha? There's something printed on there that I can't see. We'll have a little look in there. Oh dear. This switch up here could be better. That could be shorter, but it's not terrible. The switch seems to work. It's nothing to write home about. Yeah, I'm happy with that. For 200 bucks, happy. It's a tidy job. The cables are not everywhere. They're as long as they need to be and no longer. But that's also because of the design of this guitar. Now, in there, not such a pretty sight. So this black paint is normally for conductivity, to shield these P90s and or whatever it is. But we haven't even got any corresponding shielding on the back of there. But that, someone has accidentally painted that part. Oh, that'll do. And then they've got some on the edge just there. But I don't mind. I had no problems with the guitar at all, so there's no reason why I should be complaining about this. However, if I were to do some work on this guitar, I would probably put a bit more paint in there. Overall, that's exactly kind of, well, no, that's higher than my expectations. I was not expecting something like that. I was expecting more of a mess. Harley Benton are really upping their procedures at the moment. I'm surprised and pleased, as you should be also. So much fun. Right, review roundup time. Everything I say from this point on, please bear in mind this guitar costs €198. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. This is one of the most fun guitars I've ever played. I gelled with it instantly, possibly because of definitely because of the looks, but then it delivered on almost everything else as well. The two major downsides that I can see is that I had trouble keeping it in tune at the beginning. And once I've stretched the strings out and now I've put that string lubrication in the nut, it's holding fine. There's absolutely no tuning stability problems whatsoever. So if you do get a guitar, make sure you stretch those strings out and possibly lube up your nuts. The second thing is the tone knob. Most of the tone changes are in that last 30%. So if this is something that bothers you, you might want to think about changing that tone pot. It is not an issue for me. The pickups. A lot of people are going to think, should I change the pickups in this? And I don't think you should. The bridge is wonderfully bitey and gnarly and in your face without trying to take your face off with some high nastiness. And then this neck is warm and round and quite dark, but you can reduce that darkness by changing the position of your playing. However, the beauty of these pickups lies in that middle position. It is absolutely glorious. And that clean with this middle position is one of my favorite cleans I've ever had. And in the middle with distortion is also pretty good as well. Quite surprising. And also surprising, it does rock, like classic rock, AC/DC stuff really well, which I didn't expect. I was expecting more lo-fi from these pickups and this guitar. But should you mod anything? If you buy this, are you thinking, what do I need to upgrade? Definitely not the tuners. The tuners are brilliant. I wouldn't put anything more in this guitar. The nut would possibly benefit from either some attention from a setup or from a Graphtec nut or some sort of nut that's self-lubricating. I lubed it up with some little lubey stuff and it's absolutely doing fine. And the bridge, it does its job. Electronics, tone maybe if you want a different way of reacting with your tone. But everything else on this guitar is absolutely fantastic. I haven't tested the strap weight. Let me grab a strap and we'll do that. So there's a little bit of neck dive, a fair bit of neck dive on there. But when I'm playing it, it's not like I'm holding the guitar up. I can see myself in the screen and I think I look super cool. I don't normally do that with guitars. I'm like, oh, that's me with a guitar. But I'm looking on my screen up there and I'm like, yeah, that's a guitar with a body shape, a big body shape, I should say, that kind of fits my body shape. It's somewhere in between a 335 and a big old Strat, like 20% more Strat. Yeah, I don't think that neck dive, I don't think it's really an issue. I'm using the slidiest of straps I have, so that's a real shiny old Fender thing. And if I had some sort of suede strap or just a better strap, that wouldn't happen at all. As this is a budget guitar, I have to put a slight caveat in here and say that I might have a really good one, and this might be above average. So bear that in mind if you're thinking of getting one. But if you're on the fence, I absolutely dig this so much, you should just go and get it. If you have the $200, which is a silly small amount of money for such a fun guitar, there's a link in the video description, go and do that. There's a subscription button just there if you want to subscribe to the channel. I have more content like this. And there's a video down there that YouTube thinks you should watch. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!